Chapter 42. The black wolf panther is a low-level beast, but it is faster than most mid-level beasts. What's more, someone had seen the black wolf leopard near the Linhai base, but because the black wolf leopard was too fast, even ordinary elite martial artists couldn't catch up, so they gave up hunting the black wolf leopard. Little Chiba Forest. Ye Tian looked at this information and muttered, "This is where the black wolf leopard is found." Ye Tian didn't know much about the Little Chiba Forest. He only knew that the Little Chiba Forest was very large, and it was said to stretch for thousands of miles, and the Little Chiba Forest that appeared near the Linhai base was just one of the ends or branches. The location of the Little Chiba Forest is 18 kilometers west of the Linhai base, but few warriors enter the Little Chiba Forest, mainly because there are no fierce beasts on the periphery of the Little Chiba Forest. Most of them are some fierce beasts. Only when you go deep into the small Chiba Forest for a few miles will some fierce beasts appear one after another, and even intermediate fierce beasts and high-level fierce beasts will often be encountered, and the deeper you go into the small Chiba Forest, the more dangerous it is. However, the fierce beasts of the Little Chiba Forest hardly come out, so they have no effect on the coastal base. My cultivation has slowed down a lot. The Little Chiba Forest is indeed a good place to practice. If you can find the black wolf and leopard, you will have completed the goal. If you can't find it, you can also copy it if you see the right talent, and you can cultivate in it for a while. Ye Tian thought. In fact, he had already wanted to go out. After all, the Linhai base was only a small base, and it was very difficult to copy the right talent if he wanted resources, and it would only slow down his cultivation speed here. I was worried about my sister before, but now my sister has also started to cultivate, and the threat of the Mo family has been removed. As long as you hire a few more bodyguards to protect your sister, then everything will be fine. Who are you looking for to protect your sister? Ye Tian pondered. Suddenly, he thought of one person, the Wind Wolf. Wind Wolf is the captain of the Wind Wolf hunting squad. This squad still stays inside the base most of the time to maintain law and order, and the strength of the squad is not bad. As long as it is not an elite martial artist, the Wind Wolf hunting squad can solve the problem. Besides, he didn't let the Wind Wolf hunting team protect his sister Yi Yu all the time, but just secretly protected Yi Yu and took action when Yi Yu was in trouble. There are quite a few members of the Wind Wolf hunting squad, so you can just send 1 or 2 warriors. It's just a small thing. So, Ye Tian personally went to find the Wind Wolf and took out more than a dozen intermediate fierce beast blood as a reward. The Wind Wolf naturally agreed. Kachaba Forest. Ye Tian came here, and as soon as he entered the forest, he saw towering giant trees. These giant trees were very huge, tens of meters high, and some even reached hundreds of meters, and the diameter of each giant tree was 2 or 3 meters or even 3 or 4 meters. After walking for hundreds of meters, Ye Tian found that this place was really as the information said. There were almost no fierce beasts on the periphery, only some fierce beasts existed. It's as if the Little Chiba Forest has an extremely strict hierarchy, where fierce beasts can only live on the periphery, while fierce beasts live on the inner perimeter, but they can't enter the area of fierce beasts at will. Of course, this is just conjecture and has not been certified. He ran for miles through countless giant trees until he gradually saw the figures of some fierce beasts, and then stopped. This is already the area of fierce beasts, so you have to be careful. After all, there are occasional high-level fierce beasts here, and some powerful high-level fierce beasts and high-level fierce beasts with special talents are not what he can provoke at the moment. For several days, Ye Tian searched for the figure of the black wolf and leopard in this area, but he didn't find it. But he hunted several intermediate fierce beasts and harvested a lot of intermediate fierce beast blood. So there was no need to worry about the blood of intermediate fierce beasts in a short time. If only I had the talent to perceive a wide range, maybe I would be able to find the black wolf and leopard soon. Ye Tian fantasized. As he walked, Ye Tian was pleasantly surprised to find a trace similar to a leopard or a wolf. Not 1 or 2, but a group. The black wolf leopard is a bit like a wolf, but it is a kind of leopard. Its claws are very similar to the claw marks on the ground. Maybe it is a group of black wolf leopards. Ye Tian guessed. Whether it's true or not, he's going to take a look. Thereupon, Ye Tian activated his speed 3 times and traced along the trail of the claw. After running wildly for a few miles, Ye Tian stopped. At this time, he felt a strong fluctuation of yuan force. There's a battle ahead. Ye Tian's expression was solemn. It's unlikely that you'll encounter humans here, so it's only a ferocious beast. It is normal for fierce beasts to fight fierce beasts. After all, There are too many fierce beasts to survive in a friendly way, and even the single race of humans has strife and fighting. After advancing for a few hundred meters, the sound of the battle grew louder and louder, and strange cries were heard. That's... Ye Tian saw flat land, and countless giant trees had already collapsed. About 1,000 black wolf leopards are besieging a gorilla, but it is the gorilla that has the upper hand. High-level fierce beasts. And they are not ordinary high-level fierce beasts. High-level fierce beasts that are comparable to the peak combat power of great martial artists. Ye Tian didn't dare to reveal his breath, tried his best to hide himself, and even activated the shadow talent to merge into the shadow of the giant tree. This gorilla's combat power is similar to the old man he saw that day, much stronger than him now. He is not an opponent, and his speed is a disadvantage. If he really fights with this gorilla, he can't run away, and the shadow talent can't hide from the high-level fierce beast, so he can only rely on the top healing talent to save his life. But if you can't run, you'll be beaten by the gorilla all the time, and maybe you'll really be beaten to death. Gorilla, don't mess with it. Ye Tian no longer paid attention to the gorilla, and set his eyes on the black wolf and leopard. These black wolves and leopards are his target, but the fate of the black wolves and leopards is very miserable. Hundreds of black wolves and leopards have been killed in the battle, but the black wolves and leopards have not escaped, and they are still besieging the gorillas, fearless of death. Hey! These black wolves and leopards just don't have the wisdom. They can't fight and escape. They have to fight to the death and not retreat. Ye Tian shook his head, thinking that the black wolf and leopard were too irrational. Suddenly, Ye Tian's gaze looked at one of the black wolf leopards as if it were glowing. No, it should be called the golden wolf leopard because the black wolf leopard is all golden, and it looks like a very noble bloodline. And the other party is indeed noble. It is a medium-level fierce beast, and its speed is faster than that of a gorilla, and the gorilla can't catch it at all, but this golden wolf leopard can't break the gorilla's defenses. Hey, this golden wolf leopard's speed talent must be higher than that of an ordinary black wolf leopard. Otherwise it wouldn't be so rebellious. But the intermediate fierce beast level is faster than the gorilla at the peak of the high-level fierce beast. It's incredible it can't be a high-speed talent, right? Thinking of this, Ye Tian was short of breath. If he gets this talent, his strength will definitely skyrocket. Chapter 43. Ye Tian had been secretly observing, waiting for the end of the battle between the two sides. After about half an hour, the number of black wolf leopards had dropped to 200 or 300, and the ground was full of black wolf and leopard corpses. Such a heavy price has hurt the foundation of the black wolf and leopard group, but the black wolf and leopard still did not retreat. After such a long time of fighting, the gorilla's physical exertion is very serious, both in speed and strength. It is much weaker than before, and its reaction is also a little slower. Suddenly, the gorilla screamed. Ye Tian saw it clearly. It was the golden wolf leopard that took advantage of the gorilla's slow reaction to accelerate instantly. And when the gorilla didn't react, it grabbed one of the gorilla's eyes with one claw. Having lost an eye, the gorilla panicked and began to flee. However, it is much slower than the golden wolf leopard, and there are other black wolf leopards who are not afraid to stop the gorillas. Finally, without the gorilla paying attention, its other eye was also scratched by the golden wolf leopard. Losing both eyes, the gorilla's combat power is greatly damaged. A large number of black wolves and leopards bite with their teeth, scratch the wounds of gorillas with their claws, and do everything to fill with quantity. Eventually, the gorilla collapsed completely, and his life was lost. In this battle, the black wolf and leopard clan lost more than 1,000 clansmen. But in exchange for the death of a high-level fierce beast gorilla, I don't know if it's worth it. But Ye Tian knew that this battle was mainly due to the golden wolf leopard. The strength of the golden wolf leopard is not weak, it is close to the high-level fierce beast, and the speed is super fast so that it can catch the eyes of the gorilla. Otherwise, no matter how many black wolf leopards there are, they will not want to hurt the gorilla. It's my turn, Ye Tian said with a little excitement. He is not afraid of these black wolves and leopards, even the golden wolf leopards, he is not afraid. The reason why the gorilla was defeated was because of the great physical exertion and the fact that his eyes were blown out by the golden wolf leopard. But he's different. He has a top-level healing talent, and even if he is hit hard, he can heal and recover quickly. So he is not worried that the golden wolf leopard will be able to kill him at all. Phew! Ye Tian rushed over and directly killed a black wolf leopard in an instant. Then, The golden wolf leopard, which was devouring the corpse of the gorilla, noticed Ye Tian's existence and roared angrily. This area is its territory, and any creature that trespasses into this area will die. So, the golden wolf leopard took action in person. It sensed that Ye Tian's aura was far inferior to that of a gorilla. Such a little guy, it could kill it with one claw. So fast! Ye Tian's eyes couldn't even see the shadow of the golden wolf leopard. He only felt a pain in his body, and a claw cut through his body. Heal! In the blink of an eye, his wounds healed and he recovered. Not far away, the golden wolf leopard looked at Ye Tian in shock. It clearly cut through Ye Tian's body, and even saw Ye Tian's broken belly. Why did Ye Tian's stomach return to its original state in a blink of an eye? It's a pity. Ye Tian looked at the golden wolf leopard and sighed. That moment just now, although he checked the talent of the golden wolf leopard, because the speed of the golden wolf leopard was too fast, exceeding his thinking and reaction ability, he only had a quick glimpse of the talent of the golden wolf leopard, and he did not have time to copy the talent of the golden wolf leopard. However, Ye Tian had to admit that the talent of the golden wolf leopard was too rebellious, even more terrifying than he expected. And the real name of the golden wolf leopard is not called the golden wolf leopard, but the golden dragon leopard. Species: golden leopard. Bloodline talent: top. Speed talent: top. Endurance talents: medium. Healing talents: elementary. Among them, the endurance talent is related to physical strength, and the golden dragon leopard can fight the gorilla for so long without showing signs of weakness, relying on the medium endurance talent, which makes its physical strength very strong. It's really an awesome qualification, the top-level bloodline talent, which means that as long as this golden dragon leopard does not fall, it will inevitably become a top-level fierce beast in the future. And it has so many talents, once it grows up, it is enough to slaughter a group of grandmasters. Ye Tian thought suddenly. He really wanted to get rid of this golden dragon leopard, but his strength was much worse than the other party, and he could only rely on his healing talent to save his life. Soon, the golden dragon leopard attacked Ye Tian again, and Ye Tian also didn't react. His neck was almost broken, but fortunately, the healing talent did not disappoint him, and he successfully survived. At this time, Ye Tian finally succeeded in copying the opponent's top speed talent. I have to resist. If he catches my head, or grabs my head, I won't be able to live, Ye Tian thought. So he took out the knife, and the knife momentum unfolded, constantly casting shadow kills, forming a series of knife chi around his body. The sword chi protects the body, and the sword chi attack formed with his strength is enough to threaten the golden dragon leopard. No matter how fast the speed of the golden dragon leopard is, as long as there is no way to break through the sword chi wall, there is no way to hurt him, and if he forcibly attacks, he will hurt the golden dragon leopard himself. Retreat! 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 Ye Tian kept retreating and fled to other places. The golden dragon leopard tried to attack a few times, but collided with the sword chi a few times, almost breaking its claws. The knife technique can really restrain the speed, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to escape. Ye Tian's heart palpitated. After escaping some distance, he found that the golden dragon leopard was not pursuing, and apparently gave up his plan. Ha! I finally got rid of it. Fortunately, the golden silk dragon leopard gave up, otherwise my physical strength and yuan power would not last long. After all, it is too exhausting to perform shadow killing without interruption. Ye Tian breathed a sigh of relief. He had to admit that he was a little reckless this time. He thought that he didn't need to be afraid of the golden dragon leopard, but he still underestimated how terrifying the golden dragon leopard was. Watching the game and playing in person are completely two experiences. If it weren't for his many whole cards, he wouldn't be able to escape today. Of course, the benefits of taking risks are not small. Top speed talent, once fused. I still need to be afraid of the golden silk dragon leopard? Even a top-level fierce beast like a gorilla, I don't have to be afraid. Ye Tian was full of confidence. Then he found a towering giant tree, dug a hole in the giant tree, carved out a small wooden house, and then sealed the opening, and began to retreat inside the giant tree to fuse the top speed talent. Start merging. Chapter 44. Every fusion talent is a metamorphosis for Ye Tian. although it is painful, but the benefits it brings are enough for him to be willing to bear this pain. Ye Tian had fused many talents, so this time the fusion of top-level speed talents was not as painful as he imagined. Soon, the fusion ended. Ye Tian checked his talent for the first time. This is his habit, and it is also the most exciting moment. Human Ye Tian. Cultivation talent. High. Speed talent. Top. Knife talent. Medium. Shadow talent. Elementary. Healing talent. Top. Strength talents. High. Looking at the top-level healing talent and the top-level speed talent, Ye Tian smiled happily. He thought to himself how great it would be if other talents could become top-level talents as well. Try top speed. Ye Tian walked out of the giant tree, turned on the speed talent, and gave it a try. Phew! In an instant, Ye Tian crossed a distance of 100 meters. In the dark, he felt like he had broken some kind of barrier in the air. Sonic speed. This word appeared in Ye Tian's mind. The speed of sound is the speed at which sound travels through the air, which is 340 meters per second. And Ye Tian's speed is not just the speed of sound, it is definitely many times faster than double the speed of sound. After testing again and again, Ye Tian finally had an understanding of his speed. 10 times the speed of sound. I was able to reach 3,400 meters per second, compared to 170 meters per second before. According to this ratio, the speed increase of the top speed talent is 20 times. Ye Tian said darkly. The 20-fold increase is already very exaggerated. This is an increase that ignores the realm. According to Ye Tian's estimation, even if he is a great martial artist among human beings, the ultimate speed should only be 5 or 6 times the speed of sound, and Ye Tian's speed has exceeded the ultimate speed of a great martial artist. If he waited for Ye Tian to reach the level of a great martial artist, his speed would be even more exaggerated. With my current strength, it won't be a problem to deal with the peak of the great martial artist. Ye Tian smiled very happily. Originally, his strength was much worse than the peak combat power of the great martial artist, but now a top-level speed talent made up for the gap in combat power. For him, copying a powerful talent is a shortcut to quickly improving his strength. However, such opportunities are not easy to come across. This time, it was his luck and his courage to fight that he copied the speed talent of the golden silk dragon leopard. Otherwise, he would not have such a strength transformation. It's time to deal with the golden dragon leopard. Ye Tian is not afraid of the golden dragon leopard at all. In terms of speed, he is not much worse than the golden dragon leopard, perhaps because of the high realm. The speed of the golden dragon leopard will reach 12 or 13 times the speed of sound. But the difference between 10 times the speed of sound and 12 or 13 times the speed of sound is not too big, so that it will not be unable to react. However, Ye Tian's advantage is very great. His top-level healing talent can ensure that he heals quickly, and his attack power exceeds that of ordinary great martial artists, which is not comparable to the golden silk dragon leopard. Under the comprehensive strength, Ye Tian's strength completely surpassed the golden dragon leopard, and he was naturally not afraid of the golden dragon leopard. So, Ye Tian returned the same way. Found it? They're not gone yet. Ye Tian saw a group of black wolves and leopards surrounding the golden silk dragon leopard. At this time, the golden dragon leopard was sleeping, and next to it was the corpse of a gorilla, but it was not complete, but only half of the corpse. The golden dragon leopard should be digesting the corpse of a gorilla. It seems that this act of devouring the corpse of a fierce beast can increase the strength of a fierce beast, just like us humans refining the blood of a fierce beast to improve their strength. Ye Tian guessed. With the talent of the golden dragon leopard, if the corpse of the gorilla is completely absorbed, the strength will inevitably increase a little, although it will not break through to the level of a high-level fierce beast all at once, but it can also increase a lot of strength. Ye Tian didn't want to give the golden dragon leopard a chance to improve his strength. Golden dragon leopard. Let's fight again. Ye Tian jumped out and roared. This sound was too loud, and it completely woke up the golden dragon leopard. Its hideous face and murderous eyes seemed to say, "Human, you are dead." Phew! The body of the golden dragon leopard disappeared. If he hadn't fused the top-level speed talent, Ye Tian wouldn't have been able to detect the figure of the golden silk dragon leopard at all. But now Ye Tian could see it. Just as the golden dragon leopard's claws were about to touch him, Ye Tian's body flashed and dodged in time. Meanwhile, Ye Tian's knife slashed over. With the increase of the top speed talent, coupled with the speed of the shadow kill, Ye Tian's attack speed is beyond imagination. The speed talent increases all speed, including running speed, hand speed, and reaction speed. Poof! The golden dragon leopard carelessly failed to dodge Ye Tian's shadow killing, and a cut was made in his back. It's hurt. At this time, the golden wolf leopard retreated far away, looking at Ye Tian with a pair of big eyes incredibly, as if asking, "Why is your speed so fast?" It clearly remembered that when it was before, it could easily attack Ye Tian, if it weren't for Ye Tian's sword chi covering all around, making it a little tricky. Otherwise it would have been able to torture and kill Ye Tian easily. But now, Ye Tian actually dodged its attack, and the speed was not much slower. It was the first time it had seen a creature whose realm was weaker than its own, but not as slow as it was. The golden dragon leopard did not admit it, and rushed towards Ye Tian again. Shadow kill! Shadow kill! Shadow kill! Ye Tian performed shadow kills again and again, and the golden dragon and leopard were constantly injured. After all, the attack power of the golden dragon leopard has not yet reached the level of a high-level fierce beast, so it is naturally not Ye Tian's opponent. Every collision is at the cost of injury. Fortunately, because of the race, its body bones are relatively hard, and Ye Tian's weapon is slightly worse. If Ye Tian had a good weapon, he might be able to split the golden silk dragon leopard in half with a single sword. After more than 10 moves, the golden dragon leopard was covered in blood, and its state dropped to a certain extent. The golden silk dragon leopard, who originally planned to die and not escape, had the intention of escaping. It's not going to die. Phew! The golden dragon leopard ran away, and even left his own tribe behind. You're injured, you're not as fast as before, and you still want to run. Ye Tian chased after him. After only 10 miles of chasing, Ye Tian caught up with the golden dragon leopard, and almost cut off the golden dragon leopard with a fierce knife. The body of the golden dragon leopard fell not far away. His breath was extremely weak, and he was no longer able to escape. Just when Ye Tian was about to kill the golden dragon leopard, the golden dragon leopard suddenly made a move that shocked Ye Tian. It actually made a kneeling gesture and kept kowtowing to Ye Tian. Its meaning was obvious. It surrendered to Ye Tian. Chapter 45. Are you surrendering to me? Ye Tian looked at the golden silk dragon leopard with interest and asked. However, he did not relax his vigilance, for fear that the golden dragon leopard would pretend to surrender, but in fact launch an attack and sneak attack. But this is unlikely because the golden dragon leopard was too seriously injured to succeed in the sneak attack. The golden dragon leopard nodded, obviously understanding Ye Tian's words. Ye Tian had long known that some special fierce beasts were very intelligent and could understand human words, but there were relatively few fierce beasts of this kind, but he didn't expect to meet one today. I'm not very worried about you. What if you get better from your injuries and suddenly regret it? Ye Tian said coldly. Abrupt. A faint light appeared on the forehead of the golden dragon leopard, and this ray of light instantly pierced the void and entered Ye Tian's mind. In a flash, Ye Tian's first reaction was that he was sneak attacked, but at this time, a childish voice sounded. Master! This voice was like the voice of a 3-year-old child, but Ye Tian knew whose voice it was. Golden dragon leopard. Were you calling me just now? Ye Tian was surprised. Yes, master. The golden dragon leopard nodded. Soon, Ye Tian finally knew what that ray of light was. It turned out to be the light of the soul. Once the beast took the initiative to surrender, it would sacrifice its soul light and take the initiative to recognize the master. Once the light of the soul is controlled by humans, once humans die, so will the beasts. On the contrary, the beast died, but the human race had no effect. In order to survive, the golden dragon leopard felt that he recognized Ye Tian as the master. It doesn't feel ashamed, it doesn't have the face of human beings anyway. It's best to live. Suddenly getting a beast pet, Ye Tian was a little confused, but it was a good thing for him at the moment. The golden dragon leopard is a top-level bloodline, and it also has a top-level speed talent, a medium endurance talent, and a primary healing talent, and its qualifications are definitely very high among the fierce beasts. Moreover, the golden dragon leopard is also the leader of a fierce beast race, and if he has such a fierce beast group in the Little Chiba Forest, he can save a lot of trouble. Golden leopard, do you have a name? Ye Tian asked. Master, I don't have a name. The golden dragon leopard shook his head. From now on, I'll call you Xiao Jin. Ye Tian thought for a while and said. After getting the name, Xiao Jin seemed very happy and seemed to have forgotten the injuries on his body. Ye Tian looked at Xiao Jin, who was injured, and hurriedly swallowed some healing liquid for it. Under the dual effect of healing potions and primary healing talents, Xiao Jin's injuries quickly recovered. An hour later, Kim was fully recovered. Returning to the clan, Xiao Jin ordered the Black Wolf and Leopard of the clan not to attack Ye Tian. At this point, Ye Tian really had a group of fierce beasts. By the way, Kim, do you know where the treasure is? Ye Tian asked with some expectation. The little Chiba forest is so huge. It contains countless resources, and some treasures are of great use to warriors. For example, medicinal herbs, treasures to improve talents, and so on. Usually going into the wild to hunt, Ye Tian would occasionally collect some medicinal herbs and sell them on the black market. But if a person looks for it slowly, the efficiency is too low, so Ye Tian didn't encounter too many good things. But Xiao Jin lives in the small Chiba forest and has a group, so he must know a lot. Master, Xiao Jin does know a baby. Xiao Jin can be different from ordinary clansmen, and it is also the reason why he ate that baby. Xiao Jin said truthfully. Ye Tian was excited. From Xiao Jin's words, he guessed that the treasure must be able to improve his talent. How valuable such a treasure is. Kim, take me there, Ye Tian ordered. Xiao Jin did not hesitate at all, and immediately took Ye Tian away. This is the benefit of recognizing the Lord. If you don't recognize the Lord, a fierce beast like Xiao Jin will definitely not be so loyal. Maybe it will be yin and yang. But after acknowledging the master, the beast will become loyal and think of the master everywhere. Xiao Jin didn't let the tribe follow. According to Xiao Jin, that place was only known to it, and its people didn't know, because it doesn't want to create a golden dragon leopard like it so that no one will compete with it for the position of leader. After a while, Ye Tian followed Xiao Jin to a cave in the ground. After a series of winding passages, a man and a beast finally arrived at their destination. Presented in front of Ye Tian was a small golden tree with a fruit on it. The fruit is golden all over, but there are a few spots of cyan color. Master, there were originally 2 fruits on the tree, and I ate one of them, and this one is the only one left. This fruit is not ripe yet, and it cannot be eaten yet, reminded Xiao Jin. Ye Tian nodded lightly, but his gaze never left the fruit. There was a voice in his heart that he must eat the fruit. Could it be that this fruit will enhance my talent? Ye Tian thought, but he felt that his talent could be continuously copied by constantly copying it, and there should be no need to improve it through treasures. That would be a bit of a waste. But as soon as he sensed the craving in his heart, he would regret it if he didn't eat it, so he hesitated. Eat! Ye Tian finally decided. Even if it is wasted, he will not regret it, and when his strength becomes stronger and stronger, he is afraid that he will not be able to get better treasures. Xiao Jin, how long do you estimate that this fruit will be able to ripen? Ye Tian asked Xiao Jin, the old driver. Master, it will be about 20 days and nights. Xiao Jin gestured back and forth with his paws and figured it out. 20 days. Just wait here. Just enough to seriously cultivate for a while. Ye Tian muttered. In the next 20 days, Ye Tian worked hard to cultivate, and with a large amount of fierce beast blood, he didn't have to worry about the progress of his cultivation at all. In addition, Xiao Jin also continued to hunt fierce beasts under Ye Tian's arrangement and provided him with fierce beast blood. In this way, Ye Tian's cultivation progress was very fast. 45,000 pounds of strength. Ye Tian sensed it and said excitedly. Such a rapid improvement in cultivation was mainly related to the countless fierce beast blood he consumed. He had no idea how much fierce beast blood he had consumed. Even the big family could not afford such consumption. He glanced at the fruit on the little golden tree, and the last bit of cyan was about to turn golden. It's about to ripen. At this time, the desire in Ye Tian's heart became stronger and stronger. Boom! Countless vitality poured into the golden fruit of the golden tree, helping it complete the final step of its transformation. Under the gaze of Ye Tian and Xiao Jin, this golden fruit finally ripened. Chapter 46. Ye Tian stepped forward and picked the golden fruit. The golden fruit is not big, which is a matter of one bite. Ye Tian hesitated for a moment, and then decisively swallowed the golden fruit in one gulp. The golden fruit turned into a torrent and flowed into the body, and then a huge amount of energy burst out and poured into Ye Tian's mind, instantly knocking Ye Tian unconscious. What Ye Tian didn't know was that when he was unconscious, points of light appeared in the depths of his mind. These dots of light come in a variety of colors, but in the center is a golden dot of light, which represents the supreme, the noble, and the special. This gold color has nothing to do with the golden fruit, but it is just the same color. If Ye Tian could see this scene, he would be able to guess that these points of light were the marks of his talent, and the golden points of light represented the talent of copying, which was also his most important talent. The torrent of energy that the golden fruit turned into poured into the depths of his mind, and the golden light suddenly absorbed this energy. I saw that the golden light point became larger and brighter at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the fluctuations became stronger and stronger. It is evolving or metamorphosing. I'm unconscious. Ye Tian was a little surprised, but also a little afraid. Fortunately, it was safe here. If he absorbed the golden fruit in an unsafe place in the outside world, he might encounter danger in a coma. Standing up, he saw Xiao Jin lying on his side and waiting. Xiao Jin, were you in a coma when you ate the fruit before? Ye Tian asked. Unconscious. Jin replied truthfully. Then you don't remind me? Ye Tian rolled his eyes and blamed. Master, you didn't ask. Xiao Jin felt a little aggrieved. Ye Tian smiled. This really can't be blamed on Xiao Jin. After all, although Xiao Jin is very wise, he is not a real human after all. Check out the talents. Ye Tian's heart moved, and his talent situation appeared in front of him. Human Ye Tian. Cultivation talent. High. Speed talent. Top. Knife talent. Medium. Shadow talent. Elementary. Healing talent. Top. Strength talents. High. Hey, hasn't my talent changed? Ye Tian was a little surprised and a little disappointed. He also thought that his talent could be transformed. After all, the golden fruit was very extraordinary at a glance, and even Xiao Jin was able to raise his talent to the top bloodline talent level at once. It stands to reason that his cultivation talent has reached a high level, and it should be easy to upgrade to a top-level cultivation talent. Is it to improve other talents? Ye Tian was puzzled, but he took a closer look, and the other talents were still the same as before, and there was no change at all. Subsequently, Ye Tian carefully examined his body, and something different finally happened. First of all, the spirit has become much better, and there is actually a mental power. His spiritual power was able to observe a radius of 10 meters, although it was not as good as the spiritual power of a great martial artist covering a range of 20 meters, but it also broke the limit. He had never heard of someone who could possess spiritual power at the elite martial artist level, which was enough to be proud of. But when he inquired about Xiao Jin and learned that Xiao Jin's current spiritual power could cover 30 meters, he was immediately hit to the ground. Of course, Ye Tian also knew that this was because Xiao Jin's cultivation was at a high level, and when he also became the peak realm of an elite martial artist, his spiritual power would naturally grow. In addition to this, Ye Tian also found a little change in himself. He found that his copy talent had a wider range to view, and he was able to view the talent within a radius of 50 meters, which meant that it was easier for him to check the talent of other people or beasts. But, hey, I'm a little depressed. Xiao Jin ate the golden fruit and suddenly became awesome, and I ate the golden fruit only to produce spiritual power and make the distance of the copy talent a little farther away, and it can't be compared to Xiao Jin's harvest at all, Ye Tian said in extreme disappointment. However, it is a little bit of a change in the end anyway. It is a treasure that was obtained for nothing, and it will not be a loss. There are 10 days left before you can copy the talent again. Stay for 10 days before you go back. Ye Tian decided. In the past 10 days, Ye Tian personally went out with Xiao Jin to hunt fierce beasts, and the target was no longer an intermediate fierce beast, but a high-level fierce beast. According to Xiao Jin, the fierce beast territory of the Little Chiba Forest has a strong sense of territory, and each area has an overlord, so it is not difficult to find high-level fierce beasts. With the cooperation of Ye Tian and Xiao Jin, the high-level fierce beast was not an opponent at all, and was easily killed by them. According to the discussion, Ye Tian only needs the blood of a high-level fierce beast, while Xiao Jin wants the corpse of a high-level fierce beast. Soon, 10 days passed. 1,600 high-grade beast blood, enough for me to cultivate for a long time. Ye Tian looked at the small blood pool in front of him with great satisfaction and said excitedly. But soon he was distressed. There was too much blood of the fierce beast and he couldn't take it away, and the kettle on his body couldn't carry too much blood of the fierce beast at all, so he could only take a small part of it when the time came. Hey! It would be much more convenient if there were storage bags. Ye Tian sighed. Another day passed, and Ye Tian's copying talent could finally be copied again. He was ready to copy Xiao Jin's endurance talent, not because he didn't want to copy other talents, but mainly because he didn't encounter a good talent. The chance of talent on the beast is higher than that of humans, but it is also difficult to encounter a beast with special talents, and even if it does, most of them are inferior or elementary talents, and he doesn't look down on them at all. Comparatively, it was still Kim's medium endurance talent that was slightly more useful. Just as Ye Tian walked towards Xiao Jin, he froze. His retina has a copy of Kim's talent on the back, except for the top speed talent. This situation he is naturally familiar with, which means that it can be replicated. The key problem is, he hasn't touched Xiao Jin yet. Is it? Ye Tian suddenly breathed rapidly. He finally understood why he had eaten the golden fruit, and his talent had not undergone a metamorphosis, not that he had not undergone a metamorphosis, but that he had not discovered it. His talent for replication has metamorphosed or evolved. Yes, copying talent is actually a talent. Ye Tianming came to his senses. Judging from the current situation, the copying talent has gotten rid of the restriction that it can only be copied by contact, and it can be copied in the air. This is much more convenient than the original. For example, when copying human talents, sometimes you encounter a more awesome talent, but you can't copy it because you can't touch each other. What a pity. Now it's all out of the way. Since you can copy it in the air, then you don't rush to copy Xiao Jin's endurance talent. After all, the endurance talent is not very useful. If you can encounter a high-level cultivation talent at the Lin High base, I can copy it. Maybe I can transform the cultivation talent to the top cultivation talent level. For example, Lin Wanli of the Lin family is a high-level cultivation talent. I don't need to touch him at all. As long as the distance is a little closer, I can copy it. So, Ye Tian was ready to give up copying Xiao Jin. Chapter 47. Xiao Jin, you just stay here if you have time. Help me collect more medicinal materials and beast blood, and the beast blood will be placed in the blood pool. Remember, the blood of high-level beasts and the blood of medium-level beasts should be separated. Before Ye Tian left, he admonished. Master, I got it. Xiao Jin replied. Ye Tian also wanted to bring Xiao Jin back to the Lin High base, but Xiao Jin was huge and a fierce beast, which was too conspicuous. It's not that the Lin High base doesn't have fierce beast pets, and some big families also have some ornamental fierce beast pets, but the intermediate fierce beast level is also a special fierce beast like the golden dragon leopard. Once he brings it back to the Lin High base, his trouble is not small. Besides, Xiao Jin's strength is not as good as him, and he can't protect him at all, so it's better to let Xiao Jin stay in Xiaoqiba Forest. At least he can collect the blood of the fierce beast for him, and he doesn't need to worry about the lack of fierce beast blood in the future. Ye Tian packed up his things and took away about 100 high-grade fierce beast bloods, as well as a large package of medicinal herbs. Carrying so many things on his back, Ye Tian walked out of the little Chiba forest under the escort of Xiao Jin. Outside the coastal base, about 8 miles, a hunting team was carefully searching for the beast, and everyone's expressions were very solemn. The strength of this squad is not strong, and the most powerful is only in the late stage of the talented martial arts. Boss, I found a warrior very young. He has a lot of things on his back. A warrior pointed to the figure that was walking slowly not far away, and said excitedly to his captain. The captain looked over and saw a young man, very young, who should be a martial artist. Captain, do you want to rob it? Someone asked. The captain pondered, a little hesitant. He didn't think that Ye Tian's strength was strong. Such a young boy was at most just a newcomer to the martial arts realm. Captain, are you afraid that this person has a deep background? The warriors of the Iron Tooth Base, we basically know one or two. There should be no such young man among them. He should be the martial artist of the Linhai Base with the background of our Iron Tooth Base. Are you still afraid that a small martial artist of the Linhai Base will not succeed? Captain, let's do this vote. As long as we don't get killed, no one can take it. Besides, we haven't gained a day today, so we can't go back so gloomy, right? In the persuasion of his subordinates again and again, the captain gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, do this vote." Anyway, this kind of thing, they don't do it once, but every time they are very cautious, picking soft persimmons to pinch, although this time it is a bit risky, but after success there will be a big harvest. Phew, swoo. P swoop. SSS. The warriors of the hunting squad ran over and soon surrounded the boy. "Get it all out," the captain threatened. "This young man is Ye Tian." He was a little dumbfounded at this time. How bold were these people to dare to rob him? Ye Tian, who has spiritual power, can see through the strength of these martial artists at a glance. They are all martial artists, and the strength of the Wind Wolf hunting team is about the same, and he is just an ant. "Are you really trying to rob me?" Ye Tian said coldly. "Nonsense, if you don't want to endure hardship, just take out all the things." The captain threatened again, and the knife in his hand faintly shone brightly, which was a sign of the appearance of Yuan Li pouring into the Yuan soldiers. Obviously, the captain is going to do it. At this moment, Ye Tian's knife moved. These martial artists couldn't see Ye Tian's movements at all. They only felt a pain in their hands, and the weapons in their hands fell down one after another. Then, there was a screaming. "Ah, my hand is about to break. I don't want to be crippled." Ye Tian didn't abolish their hands, he just broke their tendons, and even some of the wrist bones were shattered. In the previous life, such an injury was definitely crippled. But in this era, as long as there is healing medicine, you can recover, it just takes time. With the injuries of these warriors, there is no way to use force again for a few months. The captain of the hunting team endured the sharp pain in his hands and looked at Ye Tian in fear. He finally realized that the young man in front of him was not an ordinary martial artist, but a martial artist who was far more powerful than him, and his speed was so fast that he couldn't even see it. Such a warrior is extremely terrifying. "Tell me, how is the waterfront base now?" Ye Tian asked. He hadn't come back for more than a month, and he wanted to know about the situation at the Linhai base as soon as possible, and these people should know. The hunting team didn't dare not answer, and quickly told Ye Tian what he wanted to know. After listening, Ye Tian frowned. In the past month or so, the Linhai base has undergone great changes. And there's one more important piece of information. The Iron Tooth base is gone. That's right, it's gone. It was wiped out by fierce beasts, hundreds of thousands of people died, and only about 100,000 people came to the Linhai base alive. Among these 100,000 people, nearly 10,000 are warriors, and the others are basically the families of warriors, and the real civilians of the Iron Fang base have no chance to escape at all. Today, 100,000 people from the Iron Tooth base have moved into the Linhai base, and a large number of buildings have been rebuilt outside the Linhai base, and the outer city walls are now being built. Obviously, the Iron Tooth base is ready to make this place home. In addition, the Lin family of the Linhai base reached an agreement with the high-level leaders of the Iron Tooth base to allow the people of the Iron Tooth base to join the Linhai base, but the control still belongs to the Lin family. And the warriors and ordinary people of the Iron Fang base enjoy the same rights as the residents of the Linhai base. The Lin family is in power. When Ye Tian heard this, he sneered. This is just nominal power. The strength of the Lin family is too much worse than that of the Iron Tooth base. How can the Lin family manage those great warriors and even grandmasters in the Iron Tooth base? This agreement is just a matter of face, and in fact, the real power now has undoubtedly become the top level of the Iron Tooth base. Of course, for Ye Tian, this has no effect. Anyway, he won't be in the competition. Maybe it won't be long before he takes Ye Yu to the big base, and he won't stay in the small coastal base. "Get out," Ye Tian said coldly. This hunting team crawled away with a roll, and soon ran away, for fear that Ye Tian would regret it. There were no accidents on the next journey, and Ye Tian returned to the Linhai base very calmly. As soon as he entered the Linhai base, he noticed the difference between the Linhai base. There are more warriors, there are more ordinary people, and the streets are full of people, and it is very lively. Back home. "Brother, you're finally back." As soon as Ye Yu saw Ye Tian, he pounced directly, his little face full of missing. Chapter 48. Sister, have you been lazy lately? Ye Tian touched Ye Yu's little head and asked with doting. Ye Yu said very seriously, Xiao Yu is not lazy. Xiao Yu has been working hard to cultivate, and now he has the strength of 300 caddies. In more than a month, he had the strength of 300 caddies, which was a very exaggerated speed among the medium cultivation talents. But Ye Tian knew that most of this was due to the blood of the fierce beast. If he didn't have enough fierce beast blood, Ye Yu wouldn't have been able to cultivate so quickly. Have you had any trouble lately? Ye Tian asked again. Ye Yu shook his head. No one is bothering me, but someone is looking for you, brother. Who? Ye Tian frowned and asked. I don't know, but the attitude is very arrogant. Listening to the person's own introduction, it seems to be some genius in the iron toothbase. What is Sun Feng? You thought about it for a while. Iron toothbase, Sun Feng. Ye Tian secretly wrote down the name. Afterwards, he put the medicinal herbs on his body and the blood of high-grade fierce beasts in the house, and then went out alone. Come out, Ye Tian said to the corner on the side. Wow! A figure came out of the corner. It was none other than a warrior from the Wind Wolf hunting squad. I've seen Lord Ye Tian, the warrior said respectfully. Take me to your captain. I have something to ask him. Ye Tian mainly wanted to know about Sun Feng in the iron toothbase. He didn't know Sun Feng, but Sun Feng came to the door, and his attitude was still very arrogant. For the unknown, he must understand it first, and the Wind Wolf should know a little information. Soon, Ye Tian saw the Wind Wolf. Ye Tian, you're finally back. When the Wind Wolf saw Ye Tian, he breathed a sigh of relief. Ye Tian hadn't come back for so long. He even thought that something had happened to Ye Tian. Wind Wolf, I heard that after I left, a guy named Sun Feng came to look for me? Ye Tian asked directly. Wind Wolf frowned and nodded. Yes, Sun Feng was originally a person from the iron toothbase, and he is also a genius of the iron toothbase, far from being comparable to the genius of the Linhai base. I heard that Sun Feng's talent is a high-level cultivation talent, and now his strength has reached the mid-stage realm of an elite martial artist. After the people of the iron toothbase were integrated into the Linhai base, Sun Feng went around challenging the younger generation of the Linhai base, and many geniuses with medium cultivation talent were defeated by him casually, and even many elite martial artists of the older generation were defeated by him. I don't know where he heard about you, so he came to challenge you, but you weren't at home, so he had to leave. I see. Ye Tian understood. He originally thought it was some kind of grudge, but he didn't expect it to be just a simple challenge. Ye Tian, be careful. It is said that Sun Feng is very heavy, and the people he has challenged are all seriously injured, and there is no way to cultivate in a few months. And he has a great martial artist peak powerhouse behind him. Even if the martial artist is stronger than Sun Feng, he doesn't dare to challenge him. Otherwise he will offend him. Wind Wolf reminded. I'm measured. Ye Tian didn't care. He understood the Wind Wolf's worries. A person like Sun Feng was completely a second-generation martial artist, and those who had beaten Sun Feng did not dare to fight. And if they couldn't beat Sun Feng, they could only be beaten, which caused Sun Feng's arrogant attitude. Others are afraid of Sun Feng, but he is not afraid, even if it is the peak powerhouse of the great martial artist behind Sun Feng to challenge. He is not his opponent. After separating from the Wind Wolf, Ye Tian went back. Practice. It's still cultivation. Ye Tian has sufficient high-grade fierce beast blood, so he doesn't need to worry about resources at all, and he can feel the rapid growth of his strength every day when he cultivates. This rapid increase in strength made Ye Tian obsessed. There's nothing more fun for him than improving his strength. But someone came to disturb Ye Tian. Ye Tian, I know you're back. Hurry up and come out to fight me. An extremely arrogant voice came from outside the villa. Ye Tian, who was practicing, ended his cultivation very unhappily and walked out. Who are you? Ye Tian looked at a young man not far away in a very unkind tone. He almost guessed the other person's identity, but asked anyway. Sun Feng, one of the 4 geniuses of the iron toothbase, your name is Ye Tian, right? I heard that you are also a high-level cultivation talent. Let's compare them to see whose strength is stronger? Sun Feng said proudly. Ye Tian knew very well the character of a person like Sun Feng. If he was unwilling to compete, not only would the other party not leave, but would entangle him even more and even take excessive measures. Therefore, he simply agreed to the competition and beat Sun Feng at one time so that Sun Feng did not dare to provoke him again. It's okay to compete, but it's boring to just compete. And if you add some color, I'm a little interested. Ye Tian smiled and said, Kai too. Sun Feng showed a little interest. What do you want to bet on? A bronze-level sword skill? Do you dare to bet? Ye Tian said suddenly. Bronze knife skill. Sun Feng showed interest. For things like knife skills he naturally wants, the more the better. Okay, I agreed, and I also took out a bronze-level sword skill as a bet. Sun Feng hurriedly said, for fear that Ye Tian would regret it. However, what Sun Feng didn't know was that after Sun Feng agreed, the corners of Ye Tian's mouth twitched and secretly smiled slyly. He took out the bronze-level sword technique as a bet, and there was a whole reason because he saw Sun Feng's talent. Human, Sun Feng. Cultivation talent. High. Knife talent. Medium. Sun Feng actually has a medium sword talent. He must be a cultivator of sword skills, and bronze-level sword skills must be of great use to him, and with Sun Feng's status, he should also be able to get bronze-level sword skills. But bronze-level sword skills, who would have too much? Since you have agreed to bet, let's talk about your respective bets. Sun Feng took the lead in introducing his bronze-level sword technique. My bronze-level sword skill is called Qingfeng Slash. It is a sword skill that can increase attack power. Once you cultivate to the consummation level, you can increase your attack power by 6 times, and even if you cultivate to the Deshang realm, you can also increase your attack power by 3 times. Since it's a sword skill that increases attack power. Ye Tian's heart was very uneasy. He had been looking for such a knife skill for a long time, but he had never found it. But he didn't expect that Sun Feng actually had a bronze-level sword skill that increased attack power. Once he gets such a sword skill, his combat power will skyrocket again. My bronze-level knife skill is called Shadow Kill, which is a bronze-level knife skill that increases the speed of the sword, and it can also increase the speed of the knife by 5 or 6 times at the most, and this knife skill pays attention to killing with one hit, and it is difficult to stop. Ye Tian introduced. Bronze-level knife skills that increase the speed of the knife. This is a fast knife. It just happens that I don't have it, and I make a lot of money now. Sun Feng already regarded Ye Tian's sword skills as his own, and people who were extremely confident would not think that they would lose at all. When will it start? Ye Tian asked. I don't have my bronze-level sword skill cheats around, and the battle between elite martial artists is very destructive. Let's compete in Huiming Square at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. What do you think? Sun Feng proposed. Yes. Ye Tian agreed. Chapter 49. Looking at the back of Sun Feng leaving, Ye Tian couldn't help but sigh that Sun Feng was a fortune boy. Not only did he send an attacking bronze-level sword skill, but he also sent a high-level cultivation talent. While chatting with Sun Feng, he secretly copied Sun Feng's advanced cultivation talent. In fact, Ye Tian also wanted to copy the medium sword talent, but if he chose to copy between the medium sword talent and the advanced cultivation talent, Ye Tian naturally still wanted to copy the advanced cultivation talent because his advanced cultivation talent had reached the extreme, and he was very close to the top cultivation talent. If he copied the medium sword talent, his medium sword talent would not necessarily transform and upgrade, but once the high cultivation talent was copied, it would inevitably be upgraded to a top-level cultivation talent. He still understands which is more important. Back inside the house, Ye Tian began to fuse the advanced cultivation talent he had just copied, and this time the copy was not painful, it was easily fused, but there was just a little sweat stain on his body. Human Ye Tian. Cultivation talent. Top. Speed talent. Top. Knife talent. Medium. Shadow talent. Elementary. Healing talent. Top. Strength talents. High. Seeing that his cultivation talent had become top-notch, Ye Tian finally couldn't help but get excited. As long as you keep cultivating, you can cultivate to the Grandmaster realm 100%, but the high-level cultivation talent only has 1 or 2% hope of advancing to the Grandmaster, and even after advancing to the Grandmaster, the road behind will be broken, and it will be difficult to continue to improve. However, the top-level cultivation talent is different, and the Grandmaster can easily reach it in the early, middle, and even late stages, and only when he hits the next realm will he encounter a bottleneck, but there is also a small chance to break the bottleneck and advance to a higher level. With a top-level cultivation talent, You don't need to worry about qualifications before the Grandmaster realm. Ye Tian tried the effect of the top-level cultivation talent and finally found that it was twice as good as the high-level cultivation talent if it was combined with the intermediate Yuan Force Forging Body Method and the high-level Fierce Beast Blood. The comprehensive effect should be able to reach 3 times. After all, the higher the talent, the higher the degree of utilization of the Fierce Beast Blood. According to the effect of the top-level cultivation talent, Ye Tian was sure that he would be able to cultivate to the extreme level of an elite martial artist within 2 months. That is, the level of 100,000 caddies of physical strength. The next day, before 10 o'clock in the morning, Ye Tian came to Huiming Square. Huiming Plaza is a shopping plaza at the waterfront base which is large in size, and there is also an entrance to the black market. When Ye Tian came here, he saw a lot of people, most of whom were martial artists. "Ye Tian, you're finally here." Sun Feng walked in front of Ye Tian and said with a smile, "How can there be so many people?" Ye Tian looked around and asked curiously, "Usually there shouldn't be so many people here, and there are so many martial artists. It must have something to do with Sun Feng." "It's nothing. I'm just promoting our exchange," Sun Feng said lightly. All he wanted was fame, and if he didn't do it, he wouldn't challenge it everywhere, which would satisfy his vanity. Although he was a bit of a bully to the warriors of the Linhai base, he didn't care. In his opinion, the genius of the Linhai base is just a name, and it is not even the threshold of genius in the Iron Tooth base. Defeating the geniuses of the Linhai base and striking at the warriors of the Linhai base is very beneficial for the people of the Iron Fang base to control the Linhai base. The other geniuses in the Linhai base he basically swept away, and only Ye Tian was left. Therefore, this battle must be grand. Take out the bets. Sun Feng hurriedly spoke before the discussion. He was afraid that Ye Tian would not have bronze-level sword skills. That's it. Ye Tian took out the cheats of the bronze-level sword technique Shadow Killing. And Sun Feng also took out the cheats of the bronze-level sword technique Qingfeng Slash. The two of them checked each other's cheats. Such a simple view is not able to steal the knife skills because the knife skills are very complex, and there are many pictures. Each picture also contains the mystery of the bronze knife skills. Not a good memory can be learned. You must always consult the cheats to be able to learn a knife skills. Therefore, it is very difficult to make every book of knife skills, which is why knife skills are not overflowing. The cheats are real. Let's get started. Ye Tian and Sun Feng stood in the center of Huiming Square, and the others dispersed. At this time, many warriors were discussing. Who is Ye Tian? Is he also an elite martial artist? It is said that Ye Tian is a high-level cultivation talent, and now he is an elite martial artist, but he has always been very low-key, so we don't know. Ye Tian is a high-level cultivation talent, and Sun Feng is also a high-level cultivation talent, but Sun Feng is obviously much older than Ye Tian, and his strength must also surpass Ye Tian. There should be no doubt about this competition, right? I also think that Sun Feng will win. After all, Sun Feng is a person with a talent for swordsmanship, and he has cultivated the bronze-level sword technique Qingfeng Slash to the Deshang realm, and he can exert 3 times the attack power. What is the concept of triple attack power? 50,000 gene of strength can burst out of 150,000 gene of attack power, and the elite martial artists of our Linhai base are not Sun Feng's opponents, and the great martial artists are embarrassed to shoot. It is estimated that no one will be able to defeat Sun Feng. Yes, Ye Tian's hopes for winning are too low and too low. Almost everyone was not optimistic about Ye Tian, but only a few people had some hope. This group is the Wind Wolf Hunting Squad. "Captain, Lord Ye Tian should have a hope of winning, right?" asked a martial artist from the Wind Wolf Hunting Squad in a low voice. "It should be possible, but even if you win, it is estimated that it will be more difficult. After all, Sun Feng has an attack power comparable to that of a great martial artist. And although Ye Tian has a talent for speed and a very strong sword technique, he has little advantage. It is estimated to be a miserable victory." Wind Wolf estimated. He had calculated the result based on his own understanding of Ye Tian, but he never imagined that Ye Tian's true strength had reached a level beyond the limit of a great martial artist. Soon, the competition began. Phew! Sun Feng turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Ye Tian, raised the knife in his hand, and slashed in the air. A wind knife slashed towards Ye Tian. The attack power of this knife was 300,000 gene under the blessing of Yuan Li. Although the speed of the knife was not fast, it was almost difficult for martial artists below the realm of great martial artists to dodge. However, the unthinkable happened. Ye Tian's figure disappeared, and the wind knife that must be hit slashed on the ground, forming a huge crack more than 10 meters long, and a large number of bluestone slabs were shattered into slag. Not good. Sun Feng realized that something was wrong, but just as he was about to dodge, a knife was on his neck. When Sun Feng was covered in a cold sweat, he didn't notice Ye Tian's movements at all, and he didn't know when Ye Tian came to his side. It's horrible. Sun Feng knew very well what it meant just now. If Ye Tian was willing, it would be enough to kill him in one fell swoop. He definitely has a great talent for speed. Sun Feng realized. Chapter 50. Throw in the towel. Ye Tian held the knife on Sun Feng's neck and asked, "I throw in the towel." Sun Feng said helplessly. He is only an elite martial artist, although his attack power has reached the level of a great martial artist with the blessing of his sword skills. His defense is still at the level of an elite martial artist, and it is difficult for the Yuan force body to block Ye Tian's sword. Moreover, the neck is the weakest part of the human body, so naturally there is no way to resist the Yuan weapon. Take out the bronze-level sword technique, the Qing Feng/cheat. Ye Tian stretched out his hand to beg for it. Sun Feng's face turned blue and stared at Ye Tian fiercely. "You really want to take away my bronze-level sword skills? Don't you regret it? The value of a bronze-level sword skill is not low, and a martial artist who does not have a sword talent will naturally not care. But a martial artist with a sword talent values the bronze sword skill very much, and is even willing to spend tens of millions to buy a bronze-level sword skill." Sun Feng didn't care about a bronze-level sword technique, and giving Ye Tian was just equivalent to losing a little money, but what he really lost was not a matter of money, but a matter of face. He was slapped in the face this time, losing not only his own face, but also the face of the iron tooth base. The genius of the dignified medium-sized base came to the small base, but was defeated by the genius of the small base. If it spreads, where would he still have prestige? Even his family would lose face in front of other families. Therefore, he hated Ye Tian very much. "Bring it." Ye Tian's voice was a little cold. "Here you go." Sun Feng threw away the Qing Feng/cheats, and immediately glared at Ye Tian fiercely with murderous eyes, as if to say, "Humph, let's see." Ye Tian got the Qing Feng/cheat book, and he was in a good mood, but as for Sun Feng's threat, he didn't take it seriously. If Sun Feng really dares to find fault, it is Sun Feng himself who regrets it. At the end of the fight, the other warriors dispersed one by one, spreading the matter. It is conceivable that tomorrow the entire Linhai base will inevitably discuss the matter of Ye Tian and Sun Feng's discussion, and Ye Tian's reputation will inevitably resound throughout the entire Linhai base. Became famous in the first battle, and it was Ye Tian who was talking about it. Ye Tian. Wind Wolf and the others walked over. "Wind Wolf, you're here too." Ye Tian greeted with a smile. "Ye Tian, be careful. Sun Feng is not a good talker. You made him lose such a big face this time. Maybe he will retaliate against you. Don't worry, I have a plan." Ye Tian nodded. Wind Wolf didn't say much, just remind him. He couldn't help anyway. After separating from the Wind Wolf and the others, Ye Tian went home and began to study the Qing Feng/. Qing Feng/ is a bronze-level sword skill, which is very difficult to comprehend, and Ye Tian, who has a medium sword talent, can only cultivate Qing Feng/ to the Deshang realm at most, which is the same as Sun Feng's realm. It is too difficult to cultivate Qing Feng/ to the consummation realm, unless there is a great opportunity to comprehend the sword intent, or improve the sword talent. Next, Ye Tian's main cultivation task had one more Qing Feng/. When Ye Tian was practicing hard, the Linhai base spread Ye Tian's achievements. Defeat Sun Feng in seconds. I'm afraid that such a record is difficult for even a great martial artist to achieve, but Ye Tian has done it. Lin family. Lin Wanli listened to the news from the clansmen, and his first reaction was to feel incredible. Ye Tian's speed is so fast, it seems that I still underestimate his speed talent. Maybe Ye Tian's speed is a medium speed talent, or even a high speed talent. Lin Wanli guessed. Ye Tian, who has such a talent, has surpassed the elite martial artists in his strength, and he is not weak even compared to the great martial artists. It's a pity. The Sun family is not a family that is easy to provoke. It depends on whether Ye Tian can withstand the revenge of the Sun family. Lin Wanli sighed. Ye Tian was a genius at the Linhai base, and it stands to reason that he should help Ye Tian resist the Sun family, but he didn't dare to do so. It's just because the strength of the Sun family is far stronger than his Lin family. Although the Sun family does not have a grandmaster, it has 2 great martial artists who are peak powerhouses, and there are 8 great martial artists. And those 2 great martial artist peak powerhouses are much stronger than him. He has fought with the Sun family's great martial artist peak powerhouse before, and he was defeated in one move. Many of the warriors of the Sun family have sword talents. It is said that because the Sun family rarely marries with the outside world, they are basically married to each other by branch clansmen, which can ensure the purity of the bloodline, and there is also a great chance of giving birth to clansmen with sword talents. It is rumored that because of the marriage of close relatives, many members of the Sun family were born with dementia or disability, and such clansmen were secretly executed. The Sun family, who is so cruel, will definitely not let Ye Tian go easily. Among the Iron Tooth bases, the Sun family is also one of the top 5 big families. With the strength of the Sun family, how dare the Lin family compete? It can even be said that a great martial artist and peak powerhouse of the Sun family can sweep the entire Lin family. The other side, the Sun family. At this time, Sun Feng was angry at his residence, breaking a lot of furniture, and even a few of his subordinates were beaten by him to vent the anger in his heart. Wind! A middle-aged man walked in, glanced at the fragments of furniture all over the floor, frowned and said, "Still angry about losing the competition?" The middle-aged man is Sun Feng's father, Sun Qinghe, who is also a great martial artist, but he is only in the early stage of a great martial artist, but he also has a talent for swordsmanship, and his strength is comparable to that of a strong man in the later stage of a great martial artist. "Father!" Sun Feng calmed down a little, walked in front of Sun Qinghe, and shouted, "It's just a one-time defeat, so why be so frustrated?" Sun Qinghe said, "Father, I want Ye Tian to die. Can you help me?" Sun Feng pleaded. He was very self-aware, knowing that with his own strength, he would not be able to kill Ye Tian, and he could not mobilize the great martial artists of the Sun family, so he could only turn to his father for help. "No!" Sun Qinghe refused. "Why?" Sun Feng was puzzled. As far as a mere Ye Tian is concerned, even if he has a high level of cultivation talent, as long as he doesn't grow up, he will be an ant in front of the Sun family. As long as Sun Qinghe makes a move, Ye Tian will definitely die. Because it's an extraordinary time. Sun Qinghe explained, although we have become a part of the Linhai base, many people in the Linhai base still regard us as outsiders, and our foundation here is not stable. If we kill the first day of the Linhai base at this time, even if the Lin family doesn't trouble us, what do the other martial artists in the Linhai base think? Maybe they will make trouble for us in all aspects, which will seriously affect the development of the family. Then let's ignore Ye Tian? Sun Feng was very unwilling. No, Ye Tian has made our Sun family lose face. Naturally, we can't let Ye Tian go, but we can't do anything to Ye Tian during this period. And in a few months, when the family completely establishes a firm foundation in the Linhai base, then we will kill Ye Tian. Sun Qinghe promised. Okay, let Ye Tian live for a few more months. Sun Feng's face was gloomy. A few months is not a long time, and nothing will happen. Neither Sun Feng nor Sun Qinghe would have thought that Ye Tian would grow to a level comparable to the peak of a great martial artist in the past few months. In this way, time passed slowly, and the entire coastal base was very calm. The Sun family didn't trouble me. Ye Tian, who had practiced for more than 10 days, felt strange. Chapter 51. The Sun family didn't come to look for trouble, but Ye Tian still didn't let his guard down. During this time, he also inquired about the situation of the Sun family, and after learning about it, he had to admit that the Sun family was strong. But for Ye Tian, the Sun family is even more like an experience package. That's right, the XP pack. Because many martial artists of the Sun family actually have a talent for swordsmanship, this is simply incredible. Ye Tian had long known that his parents had the same special talent, and his heirs had a certain chance of inheriting this kind of special talent, but he never expected that the Sun family would be so mad that they would marry internally. My cultivation talent has reached the top level. and it is useless to copy some advanced cultivation talents, so it is better to copy the Sun family's sword talent next. Maybe I can transform my sword talent and successfully upgrade to a high-level sword talent. Ye Tian decided. After another 20 or so days, Ye Tian found an opportunity, and finally secretly copied Sun Feng's medium sword talent while he was wandering around. It's a pity that this time the replication and fusion did not make Ye Tian's sword talent transform and upgrade. In the past month, Ye Tian once again discovered a young man from the Sun family with a medium sword talent. The other party was not yet 15 years old and had not yet cultivated, but the sword talent could be copied. After successfully copying the opponent's medium sword talent, Ye Tian successfully upgraded his sword talent under the fusion. Knife talent. Advanced. Looking at the talent of advanced sword skills, Ye Tian was very excited. This is a high-level sword talent, which can definitely allow him to cultivate his bronze-level sword skills to a consummation level. Once a bronze-level sword skill reaches the consummation level, his combat power will undergo a earth-shaking transformation. But if you want to complete the bronze-level sword technique, you must reach the realm of sword intent. In the past, due to the limitation of sword talent, he was always stuck in the realm of sword perfection, and he couldn't comprehend a trace of sword intent. But now, the sword talent has been upgraded, and the sword intent can definitely be realized. Enlightenment. Ye Tian held a knife, sat cross-legged, and comprehended the knife intent through the knife. Buzz! In Ye Tian's mind world, the knife in his hand seemed to really come to life, pulling him into a wonderful world. This is the world of knives. Time passes slowly. I don't know how long it has been. Ye Tian suddenly had a kind of enlightenment, and his understanding of the realm of the sword instantly improved to a higher level. Suddenly, a wisp of sword intent appeared on Ye Tian's body. The sword intent is the will of the knife, which condenses the knife to the extreme and forms the knife intent under the perception of the knife realm. At this moment, Ye Tian finally got started and realized a wisp of sword intent, although it was still very weak, but it was indeed stepping into the realm of sword intent. In the next few days, Ye Tian tried his best to comprehend the sword intent, and as for other cultivation, he put it down for the time being. Because in terms of cultivation, he has stepped into the extreme of elite martial artists, and his physical strength has reached 100,000 caddies, and if he breaks through, he will be at the level of a great martial artist. He didn't want to step into the great martial artist level for the time being, because the progress was too fast. Although the strength of the body has reached the limit of an elite martial artist, the tempering of the body has not really been completed. Ye Tian was going to refine the skin, meat, bones, and blood exchange again to make the foundation more stable, and he firmly believed that there would definitely be benefits to doing so. Otherwise, if he pursued the strength, the foundation would not be solid after all. 5 days passed. Ye Tian ended his cultivation of comprehending the sword intent. A little bit of sword intent is not bad. Ye Tian exhaled and said, the realm of knife intent is also divided in detail from a point of knife intent entry to a knife intent to 3 into a small knife intent, 7 into a large knife intent, and 10 into a complete sword intent. However, it was very difficult to comprehend the sword intent. Even if he had a high level of sword talent, it was unrealistic to quickly improve the sword intent realm. Ye Tian obviously sensed that after the sword intent realm reached one point, the speed of comprehension slowed down a lot. For him at present, it is not cost-effective to fully comprehend the sword intent realm, and 1 point of the sword intent realm is enough for the time being. Let's still practice the bronze-level sword skill Shadow Kill and the bronze-level sword skill Qingfeng Slash. Ye Tian decided. These 2 bronze-level sword skills he has already cultivated to the peak realm of Dashang, and he is only 1 step away from entering the consummation level. Now, the sword intent has been completed, and the consummation realm can't stop him. It only took 1 day for Shadow Kill to successfully advance to the consummation realm. Then, it took more than half a day, and Qingfeng Slash also stepped into the realm of perfection. So far, Ye Tian has mastered 2 bronze-level sword skills of the consummation realm. On this day, Ye Tian began to sort out his combat strength. My physical strength has reached 100,000 gene of strength, and the power of 1 million gene can be reached under the increase of high strength, which is equivalent to the ultimate strength of a great martial artist. If you add the 6-fold increase in attack power of Qingfeng Slash, It is equivalent to the power of 6 million caddies, which is equivalent to the attack power of the Grandmaster, and the attack power of the ordinary Grandmaster is not as good as mine. In addition, my speed has reached 12 times the speed of sound, which exceeds the limit of the great martial artist, and should be equivalent to the speed of the Grandmaster. Ye Tian estimated that except for his defense, he was completely equivalent to a Grandmaster. However, although he has a weak defense, he has a top healing talent, and even if he is injured due to weak defense, he can recover quickly. Even if I fight with a real Grandmaster powerhouse, I won't be half a point weaker. Ye Tian was extremely confident. Of course, Ye Tian has not yet encountered a suitable defensive talent, and if he does, he will make up for this shortcoming. According to the calculation, in another month, I will be able to refine my whole body to the extreme, and then I will be able to advance to the great martial artist level with peace of mind. Ye Tian thought with some expectation about how far his combat power would soar if he was promoted to a great martial artist. I was afraid that even many Grandmasters would not be able to withstand his blow. The Sun family. In the past few months, the Sun family's business has gradually expanded, not only buying many shops, but also completely opening up a resource supply line, which can be regarded as initially taking root in the Linhai base. And Sun Feng couldn't wait to find his father Sun Qinghe at this time. Father, isn't it time to do something to Ye Tian? Sun Feng asked urgently. 3 days later, I will personally kill Ye Tian. Sun Qinghe promised. Thank you, father. Sun Feng was overjoyed, and he had already begun to fantasize about Ye Tian's fate, and couldn't help laughing. Chapter 52. Sun Feng is very aware of his father's strength, although he is only in the early stage of a great martial artist, and his physical strength is only 150,000 caddies, but his father also has a medium sword talent, and has cultivated 2 bronze-level sword skills to the peak realm of Deshang, and there is an intermediate yuan weapon in his hand, and the combination of knife skills and weapons can increase the strength by 4 times. Therefore, his father is equivalent to a great martial artist with a strength of 600,000 caddies, and under the increase of Yuan Li, he can attack with a strength of 1.2 million caddies. In comparison, he can only hit 300,000 caddies of attack power, which is much worse than his father. But the biggest gap between elite warriors and great warriors is not strength, but speed and defense. The speed of the great warrior is much faster than that of the elite warrior, and the defense is also much stronger, so the difference in strength is very large. If his father wanted to kill him, 1 move would be enough to kill him in an instant. Humph, what's the use of Ye Tian's speed no matter how fast it is? His strength is insufficient, and his speed can exceed the limit of my eyesight, but in the great martial artist's eyesight, it is just a little faster. With my father's strength, 1 move is enough to kill him in seconds. Sun Feng had no worries in his heart. He just waited quietly for Ye Tian's death. 3 days passed. This day, morning, Sun Qinghe walked out of Sun's house and went directly to Ye Tian's residence. He did not hide his actions in the slightest. Because he knew very well that he couldn't hide the matter of killing Ye Tian at all, it was better to kill Ye Tian generously, so that he could deter the quartet and announce the power of the Sun family. Central Garden Complex. Boom! A momentum belonging to the great warrior dispersed, causing many residents in the Central Garden community to panic. This momentum is simply arrogant to the extreme, and it doesn't take the rules of the coastal base into account at all. Great warrior! Ye Tian opened his eyes and looked not far away. He had a feeling that this great martial artist was here for him, and this momentum was mixed with a powerful sword momentum, obviously a great martial artist with a talent for sword skills. Sun family, Ye Tian muttered. I thought that the Sun family had given up dealing with him, but I didn't expect it to be just a belated revenge. Sun family, it seems that you are looking for death. Ye Tian flashed anger and killing intent. At this time, Yi Yu had already gone to school, and he was the only one in the family, and he was not afraid of affecting Yi Yu. The speed of the great martial artist was very fast. 1 second he was still outside the Central Garden community, and the next moment he came to Ye Tian's villa. Under the exploration of spiritual power, Sun Qinghe discovered Ye Tian's traces, and Ye Tian naturally saw Sun Qinghe. Sun Feng's father, Sun Qinghe. Ye Tian was not surprised. After all, with the strength he showed, Elite martial artists couldn't deal with him, so they naturally had to send great martial artists. At the same time that Ye Tian looked at Sun Qinghe, he also activated the copying talent, and instantly checked Sun Qinghe's talent. Human. Sun Qinghe. Cultivation talent. Medium. Knife talent. Medium. From the perspective of talent, Sun Qinghe's talent is very average, only a medium cultivation talent, and being able to cultivate to the point of being a great martial artist is already the limit, but he has a medium sword talent and he must have cultivated bronze-level sword skills such as Qingfeng Slash, and his combat effectiveness is bound to be comparable to that of a great martial artist. The strength is good, but it's a pity that I have to die, Ye Tian said darkly. Ye Tian, die. Sun Qinghe was very crisp and slashed at the villa. I saw a cyan sword slashing through the void, powdering the outer wall of the villa, and slashing towards Ye Tian. How dare you destroy my villa? Ye Tian was furious. He smashed Sun Qinghe's knife with a knife, and his body moved, and he came to the outside of the villa, so fast that Sun Qinghe couldn't react. Sun Qinghe's speed is only 1 or 2 times the speed of sound at most, which is too much worse than Ye Tian, who has 12 times the speed of sound. Where can he see Ye Tian's movements clearly? Not good. Sun Qinghe's face changed. Knowing that he had underestimated Ye Tian, the speed was beyond his imagination, and the powerhouses at the peak of the great martial artists in the clan did not have such a fast speed. Knife curtain. Sun Qinghe's blade turned, and layers of knife gas turned into a knife curtain, sealing and protecting him. This is also a bronze-level sword skill, and it is a defensive bronze-level sword skill which is equivalent to adding a layer of defense. This kind of defensive sword skill was obtained by him by chance, and it was very precious, enough to defend against the attack power of the great martial artist in the middle and even late stages. Broken. Ye Tian slashed over with a sword, secretly urging the high-level strength talent. A knife comparable to a full blow from the Grandmaster instantly shattered Sun Qinghe's knife curtain. But the next moment, Ye Tian's knife was broken, not because Sun Qinghe's knife curtain was too strong, but because the quality of Ye Tian's knife was too poor. This knife is just a very ordinary Yuan knife weapon, just a low-level Yuan force knife weapon, and it belongs to the general level among the low-level Yuan force knife weapons, and it can't withstand the power of the Grandmaster level at all, so it is shattered. Although the knife was broken, its attack power was not reduced too much. I saw that the broken blade continued to attack according to inertia, and in a blink of an eye, Sun Qinghe's body was pierced, and a dense knife edge appeared on Sun Qinghe's body. Grandmaster. Sun Qinghe stared at Ye Tian incredulously, and the word Grandmaster spit out of his mouth, and remorse filled his heart. If he knew that Ye Tian had a Grandmaster-level attack power, he would not have come to retaliate at all, and even sacrifice his son. But now it's too late. Offended Ye Tian, the Sun family was completely finished, and he was the sinner of the Sun family. Consciousness gradually dissipated, and the body turned into a corpse and fell. The quality of the knife is so bad. Ye Tian looked at the broken knife, a little helpless. Immediately, his gaze was fixed on Sun Qinghe's knife. The knife was not damaged at all under the impact just now, not even a chip. Picking up Sun Qinghe's knife, Ye Tian flicked it lightly, and the sound of metal echoed in the air, which was very pleasant. Good knife. This knife should be an intermediate Yuanli knife weapon, Ye Tian guessed. Then, he groped around Sun Qinghe's body again and found a secret book, the knife curtain. This cheat book was lucky not to be shattered by the fragments of the knife and was preserved intact. Ye Tian knew that this was a defensive bronze-level sword technique that Sun Qinghe had just used, and it was extremely valuable. Looking at Sun Qinghe's corpse, he couldn't help but sigh. My son is a boy who gives money, gives bronze-level sword skill cheats, and sends advanced cultivation talents. In order to thank the Sun family's father and son for their contributions, Ye Tian gave them 2 words, good people. Chapter 53. Sun Qinghe died, but the matter was not over. The Sun family dared to attack me in broad daylight. It seems that the influence of the Lin family is almost gone. Ye Tian suddenly sighed. The Lin family once made a rule that the warriors of the Linhai base were not allowed to fight among themselves, nor were they allowed to kill anyone at will. But now, the Sun family's behavior completely ignores the Lin family. That's right, the Sun family is far stronger than the Lin family, and now that they are rooted in the Linhai base, they naturally don't take the Lin family seriously. Since the Sun family doesn't follow the rules, then I don't have to follow the rules. Ye Tian held the intermediate Yuan weapon in his hand, and his killing intent was permeated. With his current strength, what is the mere Sun family? Even if the two grandmasters from the Iron Tooth base make a move, he doesn't care at all. As far as he knew, those two grandmasters were not very powerful, and they were only in the early stage of grandmasters. As for whether they had special talents, it was unknown, but there were very few martial artists with special talents after all. If those two grandmasters did not have special talents, I am afraid that they would not even be able to catch him with a sword. He is almost invincible to the coastal base, so what else is there to fear? Let's make a big fuss. Ye Tian looked into the distance and muttered. 10 minutes later. Sun's residential area, at the gate. Ye Tian came here alone, and the killing intent all over his body made the guards of the Sun family break out in a cold sweat. Stop! This is the Sun family, you leave quickly. The guard forcibly suppressed the fear in his heart and scolded. The Sun family doesn't exist today. Ye Tian's voice was full of murderous intent, which made several guards secretly feel bad. Go and call someone, one of the guards shouted. However, it's late. A sword light filled their world. The sword light dissipated, several guards fell, and the gate of the Sun family also turned to powder. The residential area of the Sun family is not large, and the situation here is immediately exposed. As soon as possible, the Sun family's guards rushed over. The guards of the Sun family are all trained by the Sun family since childhood. Each of them has the strength of a martial artist, and the captain of the guard is an elite martial artist, and the number of the entire guard is about 100, which is an indispensable and powerful force of the Sun family. Boom! 100 guards held Yuanli swords to form a battle formation, and their momentum could even compete with the great warriors a little bit. However, a Saiyan sword burst out, directly tearing the entire battle formation apart from the middle, and then the Saiyan sword almost cut the entire Sun family's residential area in half along the way. Houses were shattered, and even the ground was cracked. It's a grandmaster's blow. The Sun family's guards were hit by Ye Tian. Most of them were killed and wounded, and the rest of the guards also lost their fighting spirit, and they retreated in fear one by one. At this time, the high-level leaders of the Sun family also appeared one after another, and their faces changed drastically. Grandmaster attack. The great elder of the Sun family, Sun Kong, who was at the peak of the great martial artist realm, said with a nervous face. An attack that can create such a powerful destructive power must be a grandmaster's attack power, and Ye Tian is obviously not a grandmaster. But even if he wasn't a grandmaster, Ye Tian had reached the grandmaster's attack power. The Sun family is not without the attack power of the grandmaster. Sun Kong is the grandmaster's attack power because he has a medium sword talent, and he has cultivated several bronze-level sword skills to the peak level of Deshang, increasing his attack power by several times. In terms of attack power, his attack power is even much stronger than that of the newly promoted grandmaster, but his strength is much worse than that of the grandmaster. Because he couldn't beat the grandmaster's speed was much faster than him. There is a huge gap between the great warrior and the grandmaster, and once you step into it, both the defense and the speed will be turned upside down. In the face of the grandmaster, he could only resist a few moves. However, Sun Kong was glad that the person who came was not a grandmaster. At such a young age, he has the attack power of a grandmaster. This person is definitely a true genius, Sun Kong thought. At this time, Sun Feng shouted, "He is Ye Tian." As soon as these words came out, the audience was shocked. For the name Ye Tian, the Sun family is naturally no stranger. It was Ye Tian who made the Sun family lose face, if it weren't for the fact that the Sun family needed to stabilize the foundation of the Linhai base. Otherwise Ye Tian would have been dealt with long ago. Unexpectedly, Ye Tian's strength was so strong. Ye Tian, the weapon in your hand belongs to my father. What about my father? Sun Feng's expression changed drastically as he stared at the intermediate Yuan force knife in Ye Tian's hand and asked in panic, "Sun Qinghe, naturally dead." Ye Tian smiled faintly. "Young man, Are you here today to destroy my Sun family? Sun Kong walked over, faced Ye Tian, and asked, "What do you say? When your Sun family sent someone to kill me, we are doomed to die." Ye Tian said coldly, "Hey, if we knew that you were so powerful, our Sun family wouldn't have made a move on you, so why don't you do it today? Great Elder, he killed my father. Kill him quickly." Sun Fong was like a madman and yelled, "Shut up!" Sun Kong shouted at Sun Fong angrily, "If it weren't for the trouble you caused, how could the Sun family have today?" In fact, Sun Kong didn't really want to reconcile, but he didn't want to start a war with Ye Tian here. Martial artist with a Grandmaster level attack is not so easy to deal with, and the destructive power of the battle is too great. It is easy to affect other people. If you fight Ye Tian here, even if you succeed in killing Ye Tian, the Sun family will basically be crippled. He tried to reconcile, and after Ye Tian left, he would besiege Ye Tian again. This is his plan. Unfortunately, his plan was doomed to fail. Reconcile, I'm sorry, I don't agree. Give you a chance? Let's all go on. Ye Tian was a little excited. He really wanted to test how strong his combat power was. It was just an estimate before, and Sun Qinghe was too weak, so he didn't have the slightest desire to fight. He really wanted to know if the people of the Sun family could arouse his desire to fight, so he said so much nonsense, just waiting for the masters of the Sun family to gather here. After this point of conversation, almost all the masters of the Sun family have arrived. All the people below the great warrior are leaving. Sun Kong shouted. Phew, swoo. P swoop. SSS. 2 great martial artists peaked. 7 great martial artists. A total of 9 great martial artists surrounded Ye Tian. The battle is on the verge of breaking out. Ye Tian glanced at it and saw through their talents. The highest talent is only a high-level cultivation talent, which is expected. If there is a top-level cultivation talent, the Sun family would have already given birth to a Grandmaster. In addition to the cultivation talent, 5 of the 9 great martial artists had sword skills, and 2 of them had sword talents, and 2 of them had sword talents, and they were all medium sword talents. The enemy is not weak. Let's kill him together, Sun Kong hurriedly said. Chapter 54. The lion fights the rabbit with all his strength. And Sun Kong and other great martial artists naturally do not underestimate Ye Tian, but attack with all their might. However, before Sun Kong and the others could attack, Ye Tian took the lead in attacking. Speed talent. Strength talent. Shadow kill. 3 talents in a row. Although it is not Ye Tian's full attack, it is not to be underestimated. The key Ye Tian's speed was too fast as 12 times the speed of sound, and even the peak powerhouses of the great martial artists had no time to dodge. Poof! 2 ordinary great martial artists were selected by Ye Tian, and their heads were cut off with a knife and they died on the spot. It was all done in an instant. When Sun Kong and the others came back to their senses, they found that they had lost 2 great warriors, and there were only 7 great warriors left. This speed. Sun Kong's expression changed drastically. This is clearly not the speed of a great martial artist, but the speed of a grandmaster, much faster than their speed. It's definitely a relatively advanced speed talent. Sun Kong was jealous. It is already a genius for a person to have a special talent, for example, although their Sun family is filthy and uses internal marriage to maintain the continuation of the sword talent. How can other families not envy it? If you have 2 special talents, it is definitely a favor from heaven, and each talent level is not low, which makes people even more jealous. You must kill him. Sun Kong's expression was firm. He knew very well that if he couldn't kill Ye Tian today, once Ye Tian really grew up, he could easily destroy the Sun family. Kill! A famous martial artist of the Sun family rushed towards Ye Tian as if he was suicidal. Puff puff! A great martial artist died at the hands of Ye Tian, and he couldn't help Ye Tian at all. The difference in strength between the 2 sides was too big. This is the powerful Sun family. It's a little disappointing. After Ye Tian killed another great martial artist, he said in disappointment. These great warriors were no threat to him at all. Their speed was too slow, and their strength was weak as a baby who had just climbed in his eyes. Sun Ling, do it! Sun Kong shouted at Sun Ling, the only female great martial artist. This female great martial artist is another great martial artist peak powerhouse of the Sun family. She is very old and has not many years to live, because she is a woman, so she is slightly inferior to Sun Kong in status. I saw Sun Ling rushing towards Ye Tian with a resolute face, as if he was going to die together. At the same time, Sun Kong and the two great warriors who were still alive quickly retreated. Die! A hideous look appeared on Sun Ling's wrinkled old face. The next moment, Sun Ling's aura surged several times suddenly, and immediately exploded with a bang. Sun Ling's self-explosion was no less than the full force of the Grandmaster's blow, covering a radius of 100 meters, and all the houses in this range were reduced to pieces, and even the ground was blasted out of a big hole. Although Sun Kong and the others retreated in time because the time was too short, they were also affected, vomiting blood one after another, and the injuries were not light. Even if Ye Tian doesn't die, he will definitely be seriously injured, Sun Kong said excitedly. At such a close distance, no matter how fast Ye Tian was, it was difficult to dodge. Moreover, the self-explosion caused by Sun Ling's secret technique is all-round coverage, and it is difficult to avoid the key point at all. For the Grandmaster, such a self-explosion is useless, because the Grandmaster can resist it by defense. But Ye Tian is not a Grandmaster, and his defense is too much worse than that of a Grandmaster, and he will definitely not be able to stop such a self-explosion. It's just a pity for Sun Ling, Sun Kong said secretly. Compared with the survival of the Sun family, Sun Ling's death was very valuable. Meanwhile, the surrounding Sun family members cried excitedly. Ye Tian is finally dead, and our Sun family has been saved. Elder Sun Ling is so great. He actually died with the enemy. Ha ha ha. What's the use of Ye Tian's genius? Didn't he die at the hands of our Sun family? However, at this very moment, a mockery came from the dust mist. Are you rejoicing too soon? Ye Tian walked out of the dust and mist. His clothes were in tatters, but there was not the slightest injury on his body. No way. How could you be okay? Sun Kong was so frightened that he took a step back, and there was no trace of blood on his entire face. The other Sun family members also turned pale, and their eyes were full of despair. It was Elder Sun Ling's self-detonating blow, comparable to the full strength of the Grandmaster's blow, and it was a covering attack without a Grandmaster-level defense. There was no way to block it safely. But Ye Tian blocked it without injury. However, only Ye Tian himself knew that he did not block it, but was hit hard. His defense was indeed a flaw. Although he fled quickly at 12 times the speed of sound, he was still a step too late. He didn't expect a great martial artist to detonate himself in the secret arts. If he had guessed earlier, he would not have given Sun Ling a chance to blow himself up. However, he was still within a few dozen meters of the self-detonation center, so just relying on the defense of an elite martial artist, he was only severely damaged, and with the recovery of the top healing talent, the injury was stabilized in more than 10 seconds. At the very least, there were no wounds on his surface. Careless. Ye Tian had to admit that he underestimated the great martial artist too much, but he wouldn't now. Run! Sun Kong shouted. Immediately, he was the first to escape. However, no matter how fast he was not as fast as Ye Tian. With a flash of light, Ye Tian caught up with Sun Kong. In the next moment, Sun Kong's body fell to the ground. In just one breath, Ye Tian killed Sun Kong in seconds. Just as Ye Tian was about to start killing, a heavy voice came from not far away. Xiao Yu, can you give me a face? It's okay to let these Sun family members go? As soon as the words fell, an old man dressed in white appeared in Ye Tian's sight. Grandmaster! Ye Tian recognized the other party's identity at a glance. The Grandmaster-level momentum was undoubtedly revealed, and it was not comparable to a great martial artist. Soon, this Grandmaster came within 50 meters of Ye Tian. Check. Human Yao Yi. Cultivation talent. Hi. It turned out to be just an ordinary Grandmaster. Ye Tian no longer paid attention to it. Judging from the opponent's advanced cultivation talent, his cultivation must only be in the early stage of the Grandmaster. In the early days of the Grandmaster, his strength was only more than 1 million gene at most. Even if he had 1.5 million gene of strength, plus the increase in Yuan Li, it was only 3 million gene of strength. Ye Tian's maximum attack power can reach 6 million caddies. As for speed, it would be good for an ordinary Grandmaster to have 10 times the speed of sound, but Ye Tian was 12 times the speed of sound, which also crushed this Grandmaster. The real strength of this Grandmaster is defense. But as long as Ye Tian doesn't let the other party hurt himself, his defense is dispensable. In terms of strength, this Grandmaster is inferior to him. Why should I give you face? Ye Tian said neither humbly nor arrogantly. The old man Yao Yi glanced at Ye Tian deeply. Relying on old decay is a Grandmaster. Chapter 55. Grandmaster. This alone is really not enough. Ye Tian didn't give Yao Yi, the Grandmaster, face at all. Wow! Many people around were shocked, and many of them came to see the excitement. They were surprised by Ye Tian's guts. That was a Grandmaster. No matter how powerful Ye Tian is, can he still compete with the Grandmaster? Sect Master Yao, please be the master of our Sun family. The last two great martial artists of the Sun family who were still alive walked up to Yao Yi and knelt down to plead. I beg Sect Master Yao to be the master of my Sun family. A large number of Sun family members knelt on the ground and pleaded with Yao Yedao. This lord, I did it, Yao Yi said lightly. In fact, he really didn't care about the life and death of the Sun family, but after all, the Sun family was a family from the Iron Tooth base, and if it was not long after coming to the Linhai base, it would have been wiped out by the warriors of the Linhai base, and the impact would be too great. If he, as one of the two great masters of the Iron Tooth base, is indifferent, it means that the Iron Tooth base is afraid of the Linhai base. So, how does the faction of the Iron Tooth base still take charge of the Linhai base? Therefore, for the sake of the majesty of the martial artists of the faction of the Iron Tooth base, he must suppress the faction of the Linhai base, and if Ye Tian wants to destroy the Sun family, he will definitely not allow it. This is also the reason why he knew that the Sun family was in trouble and came over as soon as possible. Young man, give you another choice. Apologize to the Sun family. I don't have to pursue you for offending me. Yao Yi was arrogant, as if he was on top. Indeed, as a Grandmaster, he is used to being powerful in the Iron Tooth base, thinking that all the Grandmasters are ants, and even Sun Kong, a great martial artist at the peak of the powerhouse, he didn't take it seriously, thinking that the other party was just a powerful ant. In fact, it is true, if the Grandmaster wants to kill the great martial artist, it will be difficult for the great martial artist to stop it, and he may have his head cut off before he can react. For a long time, the Grandmaster of the Iron Tooth base has naturally developed a temperament of empty eyes. What's more, he didn't see Ye Tian's move at all, and he saw that Ye Tian's clothes were tattered and his image was a little embarrassed. Such a martial artist would definitely not be a real Grandmaster-level combat power. Otherwise, he would not have been made like this by the Sun family. It was these misunderstandings that made Yao Yi not take Ye Tian in his eyes at all. Your name is Yao Yi, right? I will also give you a choice, apologize to me, and then get out of me. I can also not pursue you for offending me. Otherwise you will fall here like the Sun family. Ye Tian's words completely angered Yao Yi, and also shocked countless people around him. Threatening the Grandmaster. How bold is this? At this time, the Sun family was excited. Die. Dare to offend a Grandmaster. If you die, we will be safe. Many people in the Sun family secretly rejoiced. Die. Yao Ye's hand flexed to a finger, and a burst of finger power shot out, and the speed was very fast, reaching 10 times the speed of sound. Such a speed is something that the great warriors don't have time to react to, and they can't even stop it. If it is a great martial artist like Sun Kong, if he faces Yao Yi, even if his strength is higher than Yao Yi, I am afraid that he will not be able to block even a finger, and he will be hit hard in an instant or even fall to death. That's one of the advantages of being fast. It's a pity that Yao Yi underestimated Ye Tian. Ye Tian moved the knife in his hand, and the knife flicked away Yao Ye's fingers, and then sarcastically, "Your speed is too slow. It's a little interesting. It can actually block my fingers. No wonder it can sweep the Sun family." Sect Master Yao Yi was a little surprised, but that was all. That finger just now was just a temptation for him, and he hadn't really done it yet. Shout! Grandmaster Yao Yi really made a move, and his body disappeared in an instant, as if teleporting. This is the embodiment of the speed reaching supersonic speed, and if you look at it up close, it really is similar to teleportation. Yao Yi, who had a speed of 10 times the speed of sound, was confident that he could easily solve Ye Tian, only to see that he came to Ye Tian's side at 10 times the speed of sound, and grabbed Ye Tian's neck with his right hand. However, a knife slashed at him. Poof! One of Yao Ye's hands was broken off and fell to the ground. Not good. Yao Yi was shocked, and his whole body formed a shield with Yuan force, and then retreated with all his strength. The speed at which he retreated was fast, but the speed at which Ye Tian attacked was even faster. In the blink of an eye, Ye Tian caught up, and another green wind slash swept over. Boom! Qing Feng slashed at Yao Ye's body. The Yuanli shield shattered on the spot, and his entire body was also split upside down and flew out. I saw that Yao Ye's shirt was all broken, and a knife mark more than an inch deep was left on his chest, which was simply shocking. Grandmaster level speed, Grandmaster level attack. Yao Yi judged Ye Tian's true strength and was immediately shocked. Ye Tian's attack and speed surpassed him. Even if his defense was insufficient, the impact was not great. It can be said that Ye Tian is completely equivalent to a real Grandmaster. Damn. The Sun family is crazy. They actually provoked a Grandmaster. Yao Yi regretted it very much. He shouldn't stand up for the Sun family. Friend, I admit defeat. Yao Yi hurriedly said. Don't admit defeat, Ye Tian said coldly. Yao Yi fled and Ye Tian chased and killed. The two soon ran out of Sun's residential area. Abrupt. Ye Tian's sword cut off one of Yao Ye's hands. Facing despair, Yao Yi shouted, Old Man Li, come and save me. The Old Man Li in Yao Ye's mouth was none other than another Grandmaster of the Iron Tooth base. As soon as the words fell, the Old Man Li in a gray cloth shirt appeared, but it made Yao Yi even more desperate. Sect Master Yi, this matter has nothing to do with me. Old Man Li expressed his attitude on the spot. Old Man Li, you. Yao Ye's face turned blue with anger. Old Man Li's strength is stronger than him, and if the two join forces, there may be hope for survival. But now, Old Man Li clearly doesn't want to get involved, and his hope of survival is zero. Ye Tian, I'll fight with you. Yao Yi rushed towards Ye Tian in despair, and cast an explosive secret technique to make his strength stronger. And yet, it was all to no avail. Shadow Kill. Ye Tian's 12 times the speed of sound and the Shadow Kill made his knife speed reach an incredible level. Yao Yi, who had just burst out of the secret technique to increase his strength, reacted half a step slower, and was cut off by Ye Tian with a knife. A Grandmaster has fallen. In the distance, Old Man Li, who was watching the battle, looked stunned, and a trace of happiness flashed in the depths of his eyes. I've seen Sect Master Yi. Old Man Li ran over, arching his hands and being very polite. You won't also be in charge of the Sun family, right? Ye Tian asked lightly. The Sun family has offended Sect Master Yi. That is when they are looking for death. Sect Master Yi does not need to worry. From today onwards, the Sun family will cease to exist. Old Man Li's words were very clear. He would help Ye Tian dispose of the Sun family as a way to show his attitude. He was afraid, after all, Ye Tian's strength was too terrifying. Even Yao Yi was killed without resistance, and he was naturally not Ye Tian's opponent. He was afraid that Ye Tian would kill him, so he could only show his goodwill like this. Very good. I don't want to see the Sun family again tomorrow. Ye Tian left such a sentence and turned to leave. Chapter 56. After Ye Tian left, Old Man Li walked towards Sun's house. Then, there were bursts of screams from the Sun family. The next day, a piece of news shocked the entire Linhai base. The Sun family is destroyed. The one who caused the destruction of the Sun family was Ye Tian, the Ye Tian who defeated Sun Feng in the battle. The reason why he was shocked was because everyone thought that Ye Tian was just a very powerful elite martial artist, and Ding Tian was able to compete with a weaker great martial artist. But who knew that Ye Tian was so perverted? He actually destroyed the Sun family by himself. But the more exciting news was that Grandmaster Yao Yi, one of the two great Grandmasters, died. This is even more shocking than the destruction of the Sun family. Because that's a Grandmaster, his strength is much stronger than that of a great martial artist. There is not a single Grandmaster in the Linhai base, and there are only 2 grandmasters in the Iron Tooth base that joined, and now that one grandmaster is dead, the other grandmaster is so frightened that he takes the initiative to kill the rest of the Sun family to show goodwill. What does this mean? Ye Tian was already invincible in the Linhai base, and no one was his opponent. When they got the news, many people who knew Ye Tian were dumbfounded. Wind Wolf Hunting Squad. When the Wind Wolf knew the news, he was stunned for a moment. Brother Ye Tian actually destroyed the Sun family and also killed a grandmaster. Wind Wolf doesn't know how strong the strength of the grandmaster is, but he still knows the strength of the Sun family, which is full of 10 great martial artists, among which there are 2 great martial artists who are peak powerhouses, and the people of the Sun family have sword talents. Most of the Sun family martial artists can crush opponents at the same level, and even crush martial artists who are stronger than themselves. When he first learned about Sun Feng's background, he was really worried about Ye Tian for a long time. Unexpectedly, a few months later, the Sun family was destroyed by Ye Tian, and even killed a grandmaster. Brother Ye Tian's strength is getting stronger and stronger. I don't even have the right to look up to him. Wind Wolf sighed. However, it was already a great honor for him to be able to know Ye Tian. And if this opportunity was spoken, it would be enough to make others envious. Lin family. Lin Wanli took the intelligence information in hin hand and couldn't open his mouth to speak for a long time. He was indeed stunned. The Sun family was destroyed, Grandmaster Yao Yi was killed, Ye Tian's strength was so strong. I'm afraid his talent is not a high-level cultivation talent, but a top-level cultivation talent. His strength and speed have reached the Grandmaster level, and he should have a talent for strength and speed. Lin Wanli guessed. Unlike the others, he was happy to see Ye Tian's rise, because Ye Tian belonged to the side of the Linhai base. With the existence of Ye Tian, the Linhai base is enough to crush the Iron Tooth base. I'll visit Grandmaster Ye Tian tomorrow, Lin Wanli decided. He is not co-opting, and with the identity of the Lin family, he is naturally not qualified to win over Ye Tian, but Ye Tian can now be regarded as the strongest person in the Linhai base, and if the Lin family does not visit, it will not be reasonable. If you can make friends with 1 or 2, it will also be very beneficial to the Lin family. There are not 1 or 2 families who have the same idea as the Lin family, and many families want to befriend Ye Tian. So, this day, many family heads and elders came to Ye Tian's residence with a generous gift and came to visit Ye Tian. However, Ye Tian had only one response to the outside world: say no to all. Moreover, Ye Tian said that he just wanted to cultivate quietly, and no one should come to disturb his cultivation. For many big families, this is good news. At least Ye Tian doesn't have the intention of competing for hegemony, and he won't occupy their interests. The Sun family is undoubtedly an exception. If the Sun family didn't provoke Ye Tian, the Sun family would not end up like this. As a result, all the families conveyed the order that no one should provoke Ye Tian or Yi Yu. Suddenly, Yi Yu became the most unprovoked person in the academy. No one dared to disturb Ye Tian, and Ye Tian naturally had enough time to practice. And his villa was also repaired by the developer of the Central Garden for the first time, and it was repaired for free because Ye Tian lived here, which brought them huge benefits. Not to mention anything else, the price of villas here alone has increased several times, and I don't know how much income it brings, so the developer will naturally not be stingy with a little repair cost. Time passed. It had been almost a month since the Sun family's demise, and Ye Tian had finally refined skin, meat, bones, and blood to the extreme, and his foundation was already extremely solid. It's time to refine your internal organs, Ye Tian decided. Elite martial artists quench their blood, while great martial artists quench their internal organs, refining their internal organs like stainless steel, which will not be easily damaged. Once the internal organs are tempered to the extreme, even if you eat the poison, there will be no problems. And although the internal organs of elite martial artists are much stronger than ordinary people, they have not yet reached the level of swallowing poison raw. Once he starts refining his internal organs, Ye Tian's bottleneck will be broken, and he will automatically enter the realm of a great martial artist, and his strength will gradually rise. Let's get started. Ye Tian began to exercise according to the intermediate Yuan force forging body, and at the same time swallowed a high-level fierce beast blood. Under Ye Tian's control, the power generated by the refining was immersed towards the 5 internal organs, slowly refining the 5 internal organs. Rumble! The shackles in the dark have been completely shattered, and the strength of the body is rapidly improving. Ye Tian knew very well that this was a promotion to the realm of a great martial artist. It is a huge breakthrough for an elite martial artist to break through to the realm of a great martial artist, which will not only produce mental power, but also greatly improve physical strength, speed, and defense. Originally, Ye Tian's spiritual power could only cover a few tens of meters, but now his spiritual power is growing rapidly, and the coverage is getting bigger and bigger. About half a day passed, and the transformation was over, and Ye Tian really became a great martial artist. The spiritual power covers a radius of 200 meters, and the martial artists in the early stage of the average great martial artist only cover a radius of 20 meters. My spiritual power is comparable to the peak of the great martial artist, but it should be much worse than the Grandmaster, Ye Tian estimated. Immediately, he tested his speed again. 20 times the speed of sound. This is Ye Tian's speed now, much faster than before. As for the strength, Ye Tian also tested it, and the enhancement was not very much, only reaching 120,000 gene of strength. After all, it had only begun to break through, and it would gradually increase with cultivation. And the defense is several times stronger than before, but it is still very weak, and there is no way to make up for this weakness before gaining the defense talent. The blood of the high-grade fierce beast is almost used up. It's time to go to the little Chiba forest again, Ye Tian muttered. Chapter 57. 0057. Leaving this time, Ye Tian was not worried about the safety of his sister Yi Yu at all. Now, he is already the strongest person in the Linhai base, and if anyone dares to deal with his sister, it is an act of seeking death. After leaving the base, Ye Tian went straight to the little Chiba forest. Soon, he came to the little Chiba forest and arrived at the place where the Kojin clan was. Master! Xiaojin saw Ye Tian and hurriedly ran over. Today's Xiaojin has changed a lot from before. His body is larger, and his aura is much stronger. High-level beast. Ye Tian could see at a glance that Xiaojin had become a middle-level fierce beast to a high-level fierce beast. He is not surprised at all about Xiaojin's promotion. He was able to advance from an elite martial artist to a great martial artist, and Xiaojin, who had a top-level bloodline talent, had already reached the peak of an intermediate-level fierce beast, and now it was too normal to be promoted to a high-level fierce beast. Xiaojin, who has been promoted to a high-level fierce beast, has almost grown to the peak level of being able to hunt high-level fierce beasts, but it is still inferior to the top fierce beasts. After all, Xiaojin's strength is still too weak to hurt the top fierce beasts. Xiaojin, I asked you to collect the blood of the fierce beast. How is the collection now? Ye Tian asked. Master, you come with Xiaojin. The little golden fart took Ye Tian to the place where the blood of the fierce beast was stored. So much beast blood. Ye Tian was really stunned. Several large pools were filled with high-grade fierce beast blood, and as for the medium-grade fierce beast blood, there were even more, with more than a dozen large pools. It is estimated that there are 10,000 copies of high-level fierce beast blood, and there are at least 200,000 copies of intermediate fierce beast blood, Ye Tian estimated. For him, the intermediate-level fierce beast blood is useless, but his sister is now about to be promoted to the martial arts realm, and will soon need the intermediate-level fierce beast blood to refine her body. Some of these mid-level beast blood can be sold, and some can be left to his sister. As for the usefulness of high-level fierce beast blood to him, and the cultivation of a great martial artist also consumes a huge amount of high-level fierce beast blood, so much high-level fierce beast blood may not be able to support his cultivation to the peak of a great martial artist. In fact, it is not too much. Not bad, not bad. Ye Tian praised Xiaojin and then said, in the future, there is no need to collect the blood of the intermediate fierce beast. If you encounter an intermediate fierce beast, just swallow it yourself, and the blood of the fierce beast does not need to be kept. As for the high-grade beast blood, you can collect more. I can still use it. Master, Xiaojin knows. Xiaojin nodded obediently. In the following time, Ye Tian continued to go back and forth between the little Chiba forest and the Linhai base, transporting these intermediate-level fierce beast blood and high-level fierce beast blood back. Although there was a lot of blood in the fierce beast, Ye Tian's speed was too fast. What is the concept of 20 times the speed of sound? That's 6,800 meters in 1 second, which is equivalent to 6.8 kilometers. Of course, the actual running is not so fast because there will be obstacles on the way, and if you really run at such a fast speed, you don't know how many beasts and stones you will bump into. It is only during combat that short distances can reach 20 times the speed of sound. No matter how slow it is to run long distances at Ye Tian's speed, it is a matter of tens of seconds. Therefore, he quickly moved the blood of these fierce beasts to the Linhai base. Even in order to facilitate the storage of these fierce beast blood, he deliberately built an underground secret room under the villa to store the fierce beast blood. After emptying the blood of the fierce beast, Ye Tian assigned another task to Xiao Jin to help him find a fierce beast with super defensive ability. Defensive ability has always been a flaw of Ye Tian, and it is natural to make up for this flaw as soon as possible. Ye Tian's current copying talent can already be copied again, but since he didn't encounter a good talent, he directly copied Xiao Jin's endurance talent. As a result, Ye Tian's talent situation became like this. Human Ye Tian. Cultivation talent. Top. Speed talent. Top. Knife talent. Medium. Shadow talent. Elementary. Healing talent. Top. Strength talents. High. Endurance talents. Medium. With the endurance talent, Ye Tian can fight for a long time, and he is almost not afraid of siege because his super physical strength can allow him to maintain his peak combat strength for a long time. Subsequently, Ye Tian returned to the Linhai base and began a long retreat, occasionally going to the little Chiba forest to have a look. And just like that, another month passed. Since he was a newcomer to the level of a great martial artist, Ye Tian had a period of rapid improvement in strength, so after consuming a large amount of high-level fierce beast blood, he increased his physical strength to the level of 150,000 caddies, which was about the same as the physical strength of most great martial artists in the early stage. This day, Ye Tian came to the little Chiba forest again. As soon as Xiao Jin saw Ye Tian, he said excitedly, "Master, I found a fierce beast with super defensive power." "Really?" Ye Tian's expression moved, and he asked happily. "Well, I sent a lot of clansmen to look for fierce beasts that seemed to have strong defenses, and finally found a big snake covered in scales a few days ago, and the other party was also a high-level fierce beast, so I went in person. As a result, my attacks didn't hurt it at all. However, my speed is much faster than his, and it can't help me," Xiao Jin hurriedly said. "A high-level fierce beast that even Xiao Jin can't help." Ye Tian's heart moved, and he was immediately sure that the other party had a super defense, which must be a defensive talent. "Where? Take me," Ye Tian said urgently. Xiao Jin carried Ye Tian on his back, quickly moved in the little Chiba forest, and ran to the depths of the forest. Due to the fact that there are too many trees in the forest, Kim does not run fast. After about 10 minutes of running, this place has gone deep into the Kachaba forest. At this time, Ye Tian and Xiao Jin came to a waterhole. "Master, this is it." Xiao Jin looked at the waterhole and said. The waterhole was bottomless, and it was difficult to see what was inside. But when Ye Tian approached the waterhole, a fierce beast's breath was transmitted. Wow! A giant snake emerges from the waterhole, its upper body completely exposed to the air. It was pitch black and possessed a large number of scales, each of which shone like a treasure. Its body is at least 30 meters. Ye Tian made a preliminary judgment. Subconsciously, he checked the talent of the giant snake. Species: black-scaled python. Bloodline talent: high. Defense talent: medium. Medium defense talent, although not very high, is enough to make up for my shortcomings, and I will copy and upgrade it when I encounter a higher defense talent in the future. So, Ye Tian secretly copied the medium defense talent of the black-scaled python.